Every night for the last 8 years, Democrats have gone to bed hoping that when they'd wake up, their dreams would come true. Last night, that dream finally came true. President Trump was arrested. But it didn't happen the way Democrats wanted. They wanted Trump in handcuffs, didn't get it. They wanted his mugshot, they didn't get it. They wanted violence at the courthouse, they didn't get it. They wanted a gag order, didn't get it. They wanted cameras in the courtroom, they didn't get it. They wanted a solid legal case, and they definitely didn't get that. Democrats were convinced Trump was a criminal. They knew it in their hearts. They were waiting for Bragg to tell them what the crime was. Was it murder? Was it armed robbery, assault? What'd you get him on, Bragg? But when the big moment came, Bragg couldn't perform.
Well, speaking as someone who very strongly does not want Donald Trump to get the Republican presidential nomination, I'm extraordinarily distressed by this document. I think this is even weaker than I feared it would be.
If I had to characterize it, it's disappointment. I think everyone was hoping we would see more.
I had hoped that there would be more in the indictment.
Here's where we're going to run into legal problems, because the indictment does not say what that second crime is, which is completely inexplicable to me.
It's unclear exactly.
What a disappointment. Most of the country wanted to hear what Trump had to say about the indictment, so he stepped in front of the cameras around 8:30 last night to talk to us. Pretty big news event, right?
Right now, the former president himself is making remarks tonight from his home in Florida. As far as we can tell, and what we were prepared for here is that this is basically a campaign speech in which he is repeating his same lies and allegations against his perceived enemies. It is just getting started. So far, he's just giving his normal list of grievances. We don't consider that necessarily newsworthy.
The Russia lady doesn't want to air any lies, grievances, nothing. They'll just watch it, chop it, and show you whatever they think you're allowed to say. It's time to bury this indictment. No one even understands what Bragg is going for. He chopped a private payment to a woman into 34 felony counts. Bragg says Trump didn't mark the right ledger. Now, if that was a crime, the statute of limitations expired a long time ago. Bragg's bringing it back to life, splicing it with another crime, but he won't tell us what the other crime is. Is it a New York tax crime? Bragg says Trump actually paid more taxes than he owed. He should get a refund, not handcuffs. Is it a New York state election law violation? Well, Trump didn't run in a New York state election. Is it a federal election law violation? Well, then it's out of Bragg's jurisdiction. He's a state prosecutor. And if Trump defrauded voters in the 2016 election, why are all the charges from 2017? Trump wasn't campaigning in 2017. He was already president. So Fat Alvin can't even read a calendar. This case should be dead in the water. But the prosecutor's a Democrat. The jury's full of Democrats. The judge is a Democrat. The judge donated to Biden for president and Stop Republicans. We'll see if he follows the rule of law or his bias. Alina Habba is an attorney for former President Donald Trump. So even a day later, this thing looks pretty cooked.
Evidently, Bragg and I went to very different law schools, because I'm not sure how he had the face to get up on that stage after showing that indictment.
He went to Harvard.
No.
Right? Didn't he go somewhere good? This is crazy.
Everything that's woke. But, you know.
So this is pretty discredited at this point. Even the people like McCabe and Bolton are looking this thing over and saying it's just nothing.
Yeah, I mean, without getting into privileged information, I can tell you that we had an idea of what was going to happen. We counted how it would get to 34, of course, because of the illegal leaks. And then it was exactly what we thought. And I can't get into it, but I can tell you there's no surprises. And it was actually disappointing. As a professional, as an attorney, I was like, that, you really couldn't have. I was waiting for a little something.
You
Give us
wanted
a
to see
challenge.
something.
Oh, come on, a little something.
Not a challenge at all.
Not at all.
God.
Yeah.
So he's now disgraced. He's got no reputation. Even New York lawyers are laughing at the guy. How does he pull this off?
He won't. He won't pull this off. He is going to go down as a disgraced DA. And he's going to hurt his political, and he is politically motivated, his Democrat Party. And that's it, bottom line, period, the end. And this judge, same thing. I will say I was happy that the judge tempered himself in court, it seemed like, and really was trying not to seem biased. But this is a judge that's already heard many Trump cases and somehow got another Trump case
And he's a donor, Alina.
Donor, and I
he
think
donated to Democrats, and he's overseeing the Trump case.
Yeah, but that was by chance, Jesse. Come on, it
Okay.
was by
They
chance.
didn't judge shop at all. How is he saying that he was trying to affect an election outcome after the election was already over?
And even if the payments were made later to Michael Cohen, right? Let's hypothetically think that in 2017, while he's at the Oval Office, Stormy Daniels came out with her story. That story people knew about. People knew about Stormy Daniels. People knew about all the women. I don't know, you know, in 2016, if people have amnesia, but that was a whole thing.
Brian Kilmeade said on the 5 today, no one was going to the polls saying, get me the latest National Enquirer edition. I got to show my wife before we vote.
Yeah.
All right. So, and Stormy, didn't she have to pay Trump?
Oh, twice.
Twice.
Did you see what came out last week? So we had her, she owes him money right now, almost $500,000. And then the day of the indictment, I swear God is good, we got another ruling from the court for another $190,000 that she owes. And let's not forget that her lawyer's behind bars right now.
Okay. So she owes Trump money, her lawyer's locked up, and her other lawyer's disbarred.
That's right.
Hell of a case. Alina, thank you very
Good
much.
case.
Sorry you didn't get the challenge you were expecting.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.